Good morning, market snipers. Welcome back. This is Jesse. Getting started right at 9 a.m. on the dot as usual. TGIF. Woo! Happy Halloween. It's going to be a much more exciting Halloween this year than last year. The baby was only 4 months old-ish last Halloween. Yeah, 4 months. Now she's 16 months. Yeah, the math, 16 minus 12. 4 months old at the time, so it wasn't as exciting. 16 months, we got so her original Halloween costume didn't come in the mail. So we blame Amazon for that. The pivot was I have a full US Ryder Cup. I almost wore the jacket today. I gotta save it for Halloween. I almost wore it today, but I get too hot. But I have a full Ryder Cup golf attire, shoes, jacket, everything, right? And so the pivot was she's got like a Masters, like from the golf course, Masters. She'll be a baby golfer. So we'll have the whole golfing team, wife too. So I was always against matching the wife my whole entire 10 years with her. And it's like, oh no, that's too cheesy. Now that I have a 16-month-old, I'm like, let's do it. Let's match. Let's match the whole family. So here we are, 46, matching the whole family. Don't even care if it's cheesy anymore. It's like your whole mindset changes. But with that, first half of the live stream, we will cover Bitcoin, altcoins, check in on them, stocks, and then the second half of the live stream, we'll cover your chart requests. We'll definitely try to keep this shorter today on a Friday. Not as much going on in the markets usually. It's usually a quieter day. Not always, but usually. And I have a lot to do. Right? So getting people set up with the trading bots, doing some new videos for that, the setup, all that stuff, going through settings, all that stuff. People converting over from existing plans over to the trading bots, all that stuff. So got a lot to do today, and probably are going to take all next week too. So anyways, we'll try to keep it 45, 50 minutes. I have 0 sponsorships. I have 0 affiliates. So, help me help you, help me with the algorithms. Smash the like button, hit the repost button, share with your family and friends, and throw in a comment or two, emoji, whatever it is. And this is one of the trading bots, Sharpshooter Candles Strategy 4.21. It's basically 4.2, but I had to do 4.21 because I did change a couple labels on it, and like hard-coded labels. Didn't change the strategy or anything, but so it has to be like dialed in. Otherwise, like if I make an update and you don't see that, like say you had 4.2 instead of 4.21 on your chart, it's not going to work properly. You have to delete 4.2 and then add 4.21 back on. You always keep the access to it. It's not going to work properly on your chart. So that's why I wanted to work out all the kinks and any tiny little bugs like label names and stuff like that. And I'm human, so there could always be someone may catch something that's, something's a little bit off. I can fix it, or the coders can fix it, and then we'll update it and stuff and let everyone know. But should be good. Same thing with the Market Sniper Sharpshooter RSI 3.2. Woo-wee! Had changed some of the labels, the coloring, I like the visual tools as well. So that's what we have. We got rolling out. Now I have to decide, of like the 30 plus trading bots that I have, which will be the third one, right? And by the way, this pricing is not going to stay at this. I don't know when I'll change the $49, but the $49 will definitely go away. The optional add-on, depending on how busy we get with that for the one-time setup, could also go up. Like Alex is doing that, so he's doing it for cheaper. Whereas when I charged Alex, I charged him $1,000 because 1 hour one-on-one video and basically showing you everything that I've figured out on my own costs $1,000, right? But Alex is doing it. He's super sharp, younger than me, so he picks it up much faster. And he's doing the 1 hour calls. He's awesome. He's awesome. Nice guy. Long time Marcus Semper too. So uh, I I don't like to ask for help, but he was helping. I'm like, dude, are you able to do this? Are you able to do that? And he was. So here he is helping. So appreciate it. I think he's a part of it now, locked in. So uh, as more trading bots roll out, as we find better settings as a group, as a whole, hopefully we have some hardcore beta testers, hardcore settings testers, hardcore strategy testers like Alex, like Mike G. Those guys will go hard, right? And if we get a whole community of doing that, what if we had, like, say in the near future, 100 people and 20 of them become hardcore strategy testers and they find a better strategy settings than I do, or Alex or Mike G, right? So that's the plan. That's the goal. As the community grows, as the trading bots get rolled out, as we find better settings, all that stuff, that price is definitely going to go up. I just don't know when. And I said the recorded coaching is going to go away. If you're already in recorded coaching, I'm getting this question a lot now. If you're already in recorded coaching, you can keep the recorded coaching. You can keep the original 2 indicators, add the trading bots, and I'll even, in a short time period, I'll do a video for the Discord later today on it. You can have it all for $49. I'm like, this is like a soft launch. We're just getting rolling. I want to build the momentum of people strategy testing the trading bots, right? And start their paper trading journey, right? At least start paper trading it and find the settings, prove whatever you come up with works, share with the community. And for that, we'll keep the price lower. If we have like 6 months of proven, like, real life profits, there's no way it could be $49 moving forward. So early adapters always get rewarded. The hardcores always get rewarded. The price will never change on you. You can ask anyone in the Discord. If you started off with just coming into the Discord, $19 back in March, April 2022. I think it was the end of February was the launch, and then people start coming in like March 2022. So we still have people at $19 from 3.5 years ago. There wasn't even any indicators back then. So, and then $29, still have people that. We still have people with the $49 for the recorded coaching. We still have people for the $79 for the recorded coaching, all that stuff. So it's grandfathered in, right? I'm never, like, if you get in early, I'm never going to, I hate that, by the way. Like, I've been a Verizon customer since 2007, and I hate it when they offer discounts to new people, but they don't offer discounts to the legacy member. Like, I'm legacy Verizon, right? For 2007, 18 years. And I hate it when they won't give me a discount. I hate it. I hate it when they don't give me a discount or keep me a low price as everyone else. When I've been in there for so long, right? For so long. So if you get in early, you're locked into that price. Cancel anytime. That's up to you. I'm not going to try to hold you hostage or anything like that. So, or your wallet hostage or anything like that. If I'm slow to move, I'll make things right. It's not because I'm trying to keep your $19 or whatever. Just give me a moment and I'll get you fixed. I'll make you whole if you want out and it takes me a week or whatever, you know, partial refunds. I've given refunds. We have a no refund policy, but I give refunds. Officially, my stance is no refund policy, right? But I'll give partial refunds. That's fair, right? If you're like 10 days into it and you're just like, this is not for me, I'll give you a partial refund. In the past, we have a new system now, so I'd have to figure out how if that's even possible or capable. But official stance is there's no refunds, right? With that, let's jump into it. So we talked about on previous live stream, price was down here this week at like 106, right? 106. Happy Halloween. And it was looking like a bearish engulfing candle on the weekly chart. But the week's not over. We still have the rest of today, Saturday, and then all the way till Sunday at 5 p.m. before the weekly candle closes. So it could still close back below where this orange line lines up with it. It's like 108, 400-ish. I don't know. We talked about it a lot yesterday. So if it closes below, that would be a bearish engulfing weekly candle. It doesn't seem like we're going to have a bearish engulfing monthly candle. Still a bearish looking monthly candle, but it would have to close. Price would have to close back, and it's possible because it's still till 5 p.m. today. But the monthly candle would have to close below 108, 100-ish, whatever the exact number is on each exchange, doesn't matter, for it to be a bearish engulfing monthly candle, right? So doesn't seem like it will right now, but as we know, it can drop. Price can drop, 2% in no time on Bitcoin. So still what? How many hours? 9 hours, less than 9 hours to go, right? So 9 hours, it could definitely drop 2%. But as of right now, it's not a bearish engulfing monthly candle. At one point, it was, especially when price is all the way down at 103. So all things to consider, we know that we've already talked about it. The 3-week chart did have a bearish engulfing candle. Going back to the weekly chart, it did take out this pivot low over here with the weekly close. This would be another weekly close below that pivot point. So close below, pumped back up. This would be another close below, starting to look like follow through on the weekly chart. Turn on the indicator, right? Had the sell signal, did pump back up to the trending dots, did close above it. We did say, do we trust it? There was another pending sell signal on this chart, all while we're looking at, we had the RSI sell signal on the weekly chart. We had the longer term bearish divergence. We have the possible lower high over here, right? So we'll see how the week ends. We'll see how the month ends today and all that. But one thing is for sure, one thing is for certain. The higher time frames are not lining up to go to $200,000, right? Things can turn around, but it would take time, right? For a big pump like this, you're going to see like a certain period of time of consolidation and then starts to flip back around. And then you can see like starts to make its move and is a 50% move. Well, typically Bitcoin's making 30 to 50% moves. So even if the ship did get turned around over time, 30% gets you to 140, right? 160. So, and that's increasing like the market cap another $1 trillion, right? So this was like a $1 trillion move. This is a $1 trillion move. This is a $1 trillion move. So they're $1 trillion moves, yet you got people calling for $2 trillion moves, right? You got the talking heads saying it's going to go 2 trillion in 60 days. Well, what we talked about was this $1 trillion move took almost 3 months, or took more than 3 months. This $1 trillion move took more than 3 months. This $1 trillion move took more than 3 months. The probabilities are stacking up that we're going to get a retracement of those $3 trillion moves, right? 3 $1 trillion moves, not make a $2 trillion move in 60 days, right? So, because they say Q4, right? That's that. That's where we're at. Oh, real quick. Oops. I forgot. Let me come over here and do what I said. Help me. Smash a like. Throw in the repost. Share with your family, friends. Quick emoji. Call it a day. It helps me out. Appreciate it. By the way, you can find the website only on here on my profile or Market Sniper Pro. That's the only website we have. So you can just follow it over there, right? Boom. Right. There we go. Let's see. What else? Log in. Boom. Let's see the daily chart. Still currently bearish. Still under the trending dots as of now. All right. Looking good. I had to check a trade. Got distracted with my own trade. Okay, there we go. Daily chart. Interesting, because on RSI, is this a head and shoulders on RSI, right? Interesting. I pointed it out on the price, but I never pointed it out on RSI. And you've got like the head and shoulders on RSI, right? So, and then this peak here on RSI, price is actually lower than this peak over here. So we'll see what happens. But currently still bearish, even though there was an RSI buy signal. We said, do we trust it because the higher time frames are rolling over, right? Do we trust it? And let's see with MACD. Yeah, so the MACD had the bullish crossover, but if you took the recorded coaching, you know. If you've been following me on Twitter long enough, you would know. Yes, it was a bullish crossover, but it's pretty far below the zero line. And the zero line is another milestone of being bearish. And then you get a MACD bearish crossover on below the zero line, right? So you had a MACD bearish crossover. Price goes down. You had a bullish crossover under the zero, and then you get another bearish crossover on the MACD below the zero line. That's like compounding bearishness, right? So just so you know, that was yesterday. It had a bearish MACD crossover. If you had the indicator, it would have shown you a pending MACD bearish crossover. So before it even happens, the indicator is telling you. It's even I'd have to double check. MACD is built into the bot as well for visual purposes, but not as a filter. So should I make a MACD trading bot strategy? I might. Will that be the third one? One that I've never even built before? No, I think I have built one. No, I have built one. Yeah, that's one of the 30. Should I release that one next? I could come up with a good MACD strategy. Put all the bells and whistles on there. Take profit. It's like an OG indicator that by itself, without changing the settings, is like 36% win rate. I could probably get that to like 45 to 50% and make it profitable with take profit, stop loss, trailing stop loss, move stop loss to break even, all built in. Put in noise filter, put in time filter, put in anything else that jumps out at me. You could change the settings, the inputs. I can make it profitable. Maybe that'll be the third one. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, so that's the daily chart on Bitcoin. MACD bearish crossover below the 0 line. We'll see how it plays out. What else? Ethereum closed below the trending dots again, closed below the upward sloping trend line, then pumped back. Let's see. Let's move this out of the way. Then pumped back up. Couldn't even retest the upward trend yet. Maybe it does. Still bearish on the daily chart. Still. So is this the low? Maybe. This wick took out this wick. This closed lower than here slightly. Maybe it's the same. I don't know. It's hard to say. Has not taken out this pivot point yet. But lower high not confirmed, right? Was this lower high confirmed? No, this lower high is not confirmed yet. This lower high is not confirmed yet. So we'll see. We will see. Move that. Let's just leave it. That's Ethereum. Daily chart, weekly chart. No sell signal on the weekly chart yet. This could be a weekly close below the trending dots. Not great. MACD, bearish flip. RSI sell signal on the weekly chart, right? So we'll see how it plays out. What does a monthly chart look like? Monthly chart, you got the trending dots all the way down at 2,900. So seems like it wants to come back and retest the trending dots, just like it did back over here. Seems like it wants to come back down for that, which would maybe the trending dots will be back up to where target 4 is. Has not hit target 4 yet. So you can kind of see like the trajectory of the trending dots, right? On the weekly chart. So price comes back down, and then we'll find out if it holds or not, or if it's going to come all the way back down. We'll keep an eye on it on the lower time frames, but you can see the trending dots on the weekly, right? Would take time to play out. Oh, I need an allergy pill. SP 500 breaking down. Seems like it wants to retest the trending dots. This was a gap up. It's closing in on the gap over here. Right? So that's a gap. Gappy gap. This is a small gap back here still. Yeah, still a small gap back here. So is it going to retest it eventually? Very, very, very tiny small gap, partially filled gap over here, right? There's just been no retracement yet. There hasn't been a retracement of this move yet. One thing is for certain, let me just say, I mean, nothing's for certain, but whether the price is pumping for extended periods of time, it's going to have a retracement. If price is dumping for a certain period of time, you're going to have a retracement to the upside, right? So it works both ways, bullish or bearish. If price moves a lot in a certain direction, expect a retracement, expect bounces, expect pullbacks, right? Depending on which way it's trending. But that's where we're at right now. Made a new all-time high October 29th. Bitcoin made an all-time high October 6th. If you go back to November, let's see, what is that? 23, 24 days, right? 23 or 24 days. If we go all the way back to November 2021, 25 minutes in, we got time. We got time. We can do this. We can do this. See where we at. 2017. Oh gosh, I already overshot it. There we go. What's this? 2020. Oops. There we go. Right? Yeah. So the high here was that January 4th? That's the highest wick. So December, and then Bitcoin was November. Was it November 10th? November 10th, I think. So all the way back to November 10th. And so Bitcoin was the canary in the coal mine, right? Bitcoin was going through bearish divergence here in November and then put in a lower high and then continued downward. The stock market, like the SP 500 NASDAQ, went through its correction like at least a month later. So here we are 3 weeks later. Was that the high, right? Oh, did I miss that one? That's lower. Yeah, obviously I missed that one. Oh no, that one was filled. That's an old gap. Old gap. Okay. So going back to from this move here, April 2025, right? There's been no substantial correction. That's a big move. So for the SP 500 to move that far from wick to wick, it's 44%. That's massive in a period of, what is that? 6 months, right? 6 months, roughly 7 months. So 7 months to go 44% for the SP 500, that's massive. So to get a retracement on that, it's just likely, right? It's just likely. It's unlikely that it goes up another 40% without a correction, in my opinion. Obviously, none of this is financial advice, obviously for educational purposes only. And hopefully we find a little bit of fun along the way, especially on Happy Halloween Day. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back. So that's what we're looking at is a retracement. And if it's coming back to retrace back here, we'll see how the higher time frames are. We'll see how, and it could take some time to play out, right? Bitcoin took some time to play out, going through a topping pattern. Maybe it takes a month or two, puts in bearish divergence. There's no bearish divergence yet. So it's possible it takes another month, right? And then it comes all the way back up, puts in bearish divergence, right? I mean, that would take another month, and then it would be like 2 months behind Bitcoin, right? So it could go through something like that before you start seeing, like, I don't know, eyeball tests, target 1, target 2, target 3, target 4, right? Before you see like a bigger correction. This topping pattern could take time to play out, right? And this would look similar to the Bitcoin Wyckoff that I laid out, right? So we'll see how it plays out. That would be November and December. Come back to the trending dots, battle the trending dots, right? Trending dots start to roll over like that. And then you kind of see, like, here, let's change that to red so it kind of makes more sense. And then let's change this to blue just so we have different colors. Now we're having fun. So, and then continues like in line with the trending dots, but down, up, down, up, down, up, right? And then coming all the way back down and hitting 3, 4 retracement targets, Maybe then you have like a big bounce, right? Battle, 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 battle. Everything's back to normal. We're going to make new all-time highs. And it could, or then it just comes all the way down, fills the gaps, and the 200-week moving average comes back for a retest, right? Because that's the true value, right? The unpopular belief is the 200-week moving average, in my opinion, and I've never seen anyone talk about it like that, but the true value of the asset, if you're not looking at fundamentals, right? You're looking at technicals only. The true value is the 200-week moving average, because if it's multiple deviations above, eventually price comes back. Like multiple deviations above, price came very close to hitting the 200-week moving average within 3%, right? So multiple deviations above, expecting price to come back for a retest. So it's a very this terrible drawing. Very slow moving average, and as price is coming down, it would start to level out, right? Start to level out. What you don't want it to do, if you're always want to remain bullish and that it's not a bigger stock market crash, you don't want it to curve downward. Once the 200-week moving average starts to curve downward, it could be a longer sustained move lower, right? So that's what you don't want. Upward, up only is what you really want, right? Let's go to the week. Here, we'll come back to the weekly chart. That's my drawing. Let's move this over here so you can know for sure, right? You don't want that to happen. That's what you don't want to happen. This longer term 200-week moving average was up only. The 200-week moving average was up only since 2012. 13-year run. Could be a 14-year run or so, by the time price comes back to it, right? So, but if you look over this time period, there was time where the 200-week moving average was downward sloping. And you're not making new all-time highs during that, right? And if you look back here, it came up and retested the former all-time high of 2000 dot-com bubble, came up, retested it, and then dropped. SP 500 dropped all the way down. And then it was in a downward sloping for 3 years. So for 3 years, 4 years, it didn't make a new all-time high. So when it's not in an upward sloping motion and making new all-time highs like it has been the last, 12, 13 years, right? You don't want to be caught in this while the dollar continues to lose value, right? So that's the difference, right? So you don't want to be in this type of market for 13 years while you're losing value to inflation. Inflation, on average 2 to 3% per year without, like super high spikes like we had in 2020, 2021. Like you have to outpace 2 to 3%. And this is why I'm a swing trader, right? You can swing trade, even on the weekly chart, you could swing trade down, do your best to make money, swing trade your way up, do your best to make money, swing trade down, and then swing trade up. And if you're buying down here, based off of higher probability reversals, it's much better than buying the top, never selling, and then having to wait 13 years to get back to price even, all while you've lost money on inflation and you lost potential value in a different asset, right? So what I'm saying is I don't marry the bags, right? I've only been married once. I'm only gonna be married once, so hopefully it works out. Hopefully it works out. 10 years, not 10 years married, but 10 years going strong with our relationship. 4 years married. Good morning. Good morning, Tom. Thomas Ortega Garcia. I was like, oh, how do you say it? But I got it. I figured it out. But let's see, Tomas Ortega let's see, it's too early in the morning. Garcia. That's when we can make fun of me trying to have an accent. I'm terrible at it. I can barely speak my own language, let alone a second language. Numbers is my first language, in my opinion. So that's where we're at, right? It's been up only on the 200-week moving average since 2012. It's due for a longer term correction. Are we going to see a longer term correction? I don't know. It's due for it, but like if you kind of see, and it's slow moving, right? Uh, you know, if it did something like the .com bubble, no, what is it? Here, let me redraw this. Let me redraw it. Let me delete all this. This is pure speculation, by the way. Pure speculation. I mean, if it did something like this where it's slow moving, right? And then it went into like a .com bubble like correction, and it takes time, right? What is it, 2000? Yeah. And then it goes into another pump, and then it goes into another 2008 like correction. Basically, the 200-week movie average would be going sideways like it did for 13 years. And then would it be on another massive bull run after that, right? Obviously, you don't expect, to work out exactly the same. But if it did something like that, where that was the top and you did something like that, right? That's what it would look like with the 200-week moving average. Obviously, this would be drawn out longer, but that's what it would look like. So it'd be pretty crazy because you would see like the big swing down. Great for swing trading. Great for swing trading. Boom. And then, a massive multi-year rally. Great for swing trading. Big drop again. Great for swing trading. And then the next possible 12, 13-year bull run. Like if it played out exactly the same, right? So we don't know. We don't know if it'll do any of that. But what we do know is it is getting extended from the 200-week moving average. We do know that the 200-week moving average has been up only since 2012. So it's due. It is overdue. It was due. It had been overdue. So, and it can remain overdue for a massive, bigger correction. So, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know. It's all pure speculation. So, but one thing is usually it's going to get a retracement in the near future, right? Usually you get a retracement of a nice, massive 40% move, right? So that's what I would be expecting. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. SP 500, Algo, daily chart. We'll just look at the weekly charts for altcoins because there's nothing new really to report. Nothing really to report. Similar thoughts, XCN, Chainlink, Near, Cardano would be the lowest weekly candle close since June 2025. Cardano is back to prices all the way since February 2021. Cardano is the same price as February 2021. Cardano is the same price uh, well, a couple weeks ago, it was the same price as it was when it started on this exchange in 2018. It hit the same price. So if you're not swing trading altcoins, if you're bag holding altcoins and possibly even Bitcoin in the future, uh, you know, is that the strategy, right? Is that the strategy? Holding Bitcoin since 2018 has, paid off over time. Holding it since 2020 has paid off over time. At some point, it may not pay off, right? We don't know. We don't know. If there's a downward sloping 200-week moving average, like Cardano, like several other altcoins, and I'm not just picking on Cardano. It's just one of the bigger ones, right? Or more well known. Chainlink, same thing, right? Uh, Came back to prices on that huge liquidation event, July 2020. It came back to those prices. It's currently back to August 2020 prices right now. So if you held this whole entire time and you didn't close your position somewhere up in here, even if you're like not a hodler and you're like not a great swing trader, and you close your position somewhere between February 2021 and November 2021, like you had a long time to close out up there or even close out here, right? Anything below that, I'm going to say the majority of people are underwater, right? The majority of people are underwater or have not made money, is not super profitable, minus inflation or multiplied by inflation, right? So if you're down 10% over 4 or 5 years, multiply that by inflation. I mean, it's not a good strategy to hold certain assets. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry to be the guy that tells you that. Dominic. Hey Jesse, what could be profitable in bear market for BTC? Can you like short BTC or certain alts for longer term? Yeah, so I had this question a lot in 2022. And when I told all the market snipers in the Discord, right? And I posted about it in 2021 as well. If you didn't make as much money in this run or you lost money, the worst thing to do is try to make it back fast. And try to make it back fast by shorting an asset, especially Bitcoin, especially altcoins, without experience, is going to be compounding mistakes. If you compound mistakes by trying to make it back too fast, if you lost money or didn't make as much as you hoped, it's a better strategy. It's a better idea, in my opinion, to kind of, you know, dial in your own strategy first, reassess, maybe come up with a new strategy, uh, maybe piggyback onto other strategies that are already out there and have been out there for 5-6 years, uh, and really dive in. Like if you have experience, then the short answer is yes, you could short. Like a better strategy, in my opinion, is if you have a lot of experience, is shorting bounces in a longer term downturn is a better strategy than buying the dip on the way down and having to close your position when it reverses quickly, right? So I trade with the trend. So in a longer term upward trend, I'd rather buy the dip than just short bounces. In a longer term downward trend, I'd rather short the bounces versus for example, right here, for example, in this bull run here, I'd rather buy, take profit. I'd rather buy, take profit. Like this is a weekly chart, but if you're looking at a daily chart, you'd see what I'm saying. Buy, take profit, buy, take profit, right? In the downtrend, I'd rather short the bounce, take profit. Short the bounce, take profit. Short the bounce, take profit. And then what I talked about in 2022, all through the Discord, right? We were shorting the Bitcoin bounce. I was shorting Ethereum. So let's look at Ethereum. I shorted the bounce and I was all over it in the Discord. All those posts are still there. I didn't delete anything. There's like 7,500 posts. I don't post as much as I used to, but that's going to change because I'm going to be posting more about the trading bots. But there were several large accounts that sell courses that have now like over 500,000 followers now that were still calling for new all-time highs on Ethereum, still calling for new all-time highs on Bitcoin. And I was saying I'm shorting the Ethereum bounce, and I took a short with 10x leverage at $3,408 on this candle, right? It was based off a lower time frame, but the thesis was that, and I put it out there, I said many people will be surprised when Ethereum goes below. I said if Ethereum goes below $1,000. I put that out there, right? So in a longer term downtrend, I was shorting the bounce. I was not thinking that we're going to make new all-time highs, right? For several reasons, looking at the 2-week chart, weekly chart, all that stuff, the higher time frames, right? If you look at the 3-week chart, for example, had a sell signal. Where are we at? It was in a downtrend, right? Longer term downtrend in April on that bounce, March, April. So it's a longer term downtrend. I'm shorting that bounce. I'm attacking the bounce to the downside, right? And I would not do this if you don't have experience because you could lose money very quickly because you have to use leverage. Maybe you can lose low leverage, whatever, but I would not short the bounces. I wouldn't use leverage at all unless you're have a lot of experience, right? Because what I always say is leverage is the great equalizer, but also the great destroyer, right? So if you don't have a lot of money or you don't want to use a lot of your money for trading, you could use leverage and get gains faster. But if you're not experienced and disciplined and blah 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 and blah, then it could be the great destroyer of your account. So I would not do it unless you're experienced. But anyways, but yeah, the short answer to your question is yes. Based off a longer term downtrend, I was attacking the bounce by shorting it. That's the strategy for me on the on the downside, and on the upside. Like in a longer term downtrend, I would be shorting bounces. I would not be buying those dips. You could buy the dip, but don't forget to sell the rip. And I just think it's more profitable trading with the trend. What else did you say? It would be helpful to get way back. Yeah. I think that will compound interest because you're trying to make it back quickly. And I think that's a mistake, unfortunately. So and by the way, when is Tau correcting? I don't know. I haven't even looked at it. We could look at it. So let's see, 49 minutes. We got about 10 more minutes. Maybe we'll circle back to it. So the point is, not much is happening on the weekly chart other than what we've already talked about. Right? The trend is down on the weekly chart. 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 The trend is down on this is Cardano. You can see all that the assets I'm going through or the list over here to the right. The trend is down on the weekly chart. The trend is down on the weekly chart. The trend is currently down on the weekly chart, right? The trend has been down on the weekly chart. You get the point. I think I made my point. The trend is down on the weekly chart for Solana. The trend has been down on the weekly chart for Sui. What else? Trump. Still below the trending dots on the weekly chart. Let's see. Did have a buy signal in the daily chart. Did break out of that trend line. So, could you see a bounce on Trump? Possibly. I mean, it's bouncing already, but could you see a bigger retracement? That's possible. Just know that it's currently below the trending dots. It's still bearish on the weekly chart. Still, there's just not a lot of chart history on it. I don't even trade Trump, but Nasdaq still bullish on the weekly chart as of right now. Still, that's the difference. Altcoins are trending downward in Bitcoin. Nasdaq on the weekly chart is still upward trend as of right now, right? So the daily chart is that, that's bearish divergence. Was that the top? I don't know. Will there be additional bearish divergence? There could be. There could be additional bearish divergence. The lower high is the higher probability. So, for example, if you see price come down like this, fill that gap, retest the trading dots, back test the trend line, and it comes down, that is the higher probability that the top is in. RSI comes down like so, bounces, comes back down like that. That's bearish divergence. This is the lower high. That is the higher probability. And you can see the breakdown on the trend line. See the breakdown trend line. And that would be the higher probability that the top is in on NASDAQ on the daily chart. The retracement would be on. And then we'll see how the higher time frames flip back around on the weekly chart, etc., etc., etc. Right now, with the weekly chart being bullish, even if there's a retracement to the trading dots, you'd expect it to bounce at least one more time, maybe put in a lower high or put in additional bearish divergence. So that's the way I look at it. NASDAQ. What else? I haven't looked at the VIX. Pending buy signal on the VIX. Weekly chart again. No, that's the daily chart. Oh, yeah. Weekly chart and the daily chart, right? So the VIX is back up. Still below the trading dots. Still below the 200-week moving average. Only hit one target so far to the upside. The targets are still valid. Did not go lower than $14, right? So these targets are still valid, in my opinion. So one target so far. Will we see the VIX get back above the trend dots, get back above the 200-week moving average, retest target one, and then move up target two? I don't know. I don't have a magic crystal ball, but it could. And that would signal that, continue to see Bitcoin. It would align with Bitcoin and the stock market stuff to start rolling over more and continue further to the downside. So we'll see how it plays out. What else? Yeah, we talked about it. At what point do you lock in profits on these Bitcoin mining stocks? Right? Covered it even on my mom, right? She sold half here at target 3, sold the remaining here, target 4. And in hindsight, that was a great That was a great move. Locked it in. Since then, price dropped 44%, bounced, bounced, lower high, and now it's just coming back down, right? So below the trading dots, pending sell signal on Bitfarm, daily chart, Marathon Digital, CLSK. These pump hard and they dump hard. So if you're good at buying, don't forget to be good at hitting the sell button as well, based off of your own strategy, based off of your own plan. Make sure you have a plan, not only to take entries, but also to have exits. Right? Could have had a long entry here on the daily chart. Oh. And you could go take profit, and you can see 4%. You could do 10%. This is just one of many, right? 10%. You could have done 20%, right? You can see visually, it puts the take profit line out there, right? Let's see, 30%. What was I doing? 30%, 40%. You get the point. 100%. Could have had 100% take profit on CLSK, right? There's so many ways you could slice this. That's why we need strategy testers, and that's why it's not $199. It's not $499, right? I've been told I should be rolling this out for $499, right? I've been told that. So it's $49 right now because I want the brightest minds to come into, even if, I mean, you don't have to be the brightest mind, but I want like a group of people, like say if there's 100, 20 people all doing strategy testing and finding amazing strategies. And then hopefully they share, they don't have to, you're not obligated to, but hopefully we have like-minded people who want to share what's working for them. And they found great settings where people could be profitable, and that I could even adopt, right? For my own self, for my own personal accounts. If you found amazing settings and you shared it with the group, and of course I'm going to double check your work, but that would be amazing. I would put it on a live account if all the numbers worked out and you're making money on it. I would definitely do it, right? So I hope that's the case. But yeah, just as an example, like even on these stocks, like buying stocks, like you can set it up with stocks, you can set it up with options through the third party that we're not affiliated with, but I do have a discount code. I don't make $1 off of it, but it's 20% off. So it's like, so it comes out to like their cheapest plan, I think, is like $25 maybe. I can't remember, per month. And then this is $49. And then you can TradingView, you could probably get away with their cheapest version. So, or like their mid tier. So all in $100, right? I don't make money off of TradingView. I don't make money off of the third party. I'm not going to reveal who they are until you come in, but I can't give away all the info, but it's got to be some sort of paywall, right? For all the hard work that I've done to get to this point. But you could come back to see what else. 125, 125%. You could have set it on 125%, right? You get the point. Just take that out, or you just did the buy and sell. You would have closed position here, and that would have been on stock. 68%, right? In 41 days or 29 candles. These pump hard, they dump hard. There's also a setting for uh, use reversal candles for exit, right? And it doesn't always work. Sometimes the reversal candles are down here, so maybe that setting is not great for you. Maybe it is. Uh, but in this case, that reversal exit would have been amazing. So what is it? What's the old quote? 60% of the time it works every time, right? So it's not going to work every time. Sometimes the reverse candle's down here, right? And so you would have been in it and win it with a 37% gain. But you would have missed out on this whole move, right? Which is part of the game. It's never going to be perfect. Maybe there's a best possible setting out there that I've never thought about, because there seems like there's endless combinations, millions of combinations. There has to be. But in this case, with that setting, would have been 99.83% return in this short move, right? 36 days. And if it was on options, that would have been crazy. That would have been crazy move. Like if you did like a 3-month option or a 2-month option contract and you had that plan, it would have been unbelievable, right? Now I haven't used personally, I haven't tested the options with the trading bots. I have not. I plan to, but I haven't had time because I've gone deeper dives with the futures trading. So, and I haven't even ran it on crypto. I haven't ran these ones on crypto spot either. So I still have things I want to do, and more reason why it's cheaper. But for futures, I have ran it, and the third party works great, all that stuff. So I'm sure the third party has no problem with options. They offer it. I'm sure it has no problem with spot crypto. I just, there's only so much time in the day, right? And my main focus is futures that has leverage trading on its own. It's not as hardcore as options or like altcoins with crypto. It's about the same as that, but no, not as much. But anyways, if you didn't have a stop loss in, this trade would still be open, right? If you didn't have certain exit, like you could have a setting on, hey, exit if it closes back above the trading dots, it would have closed your position at a loss. Oh no, exit buy. There's the exit buy there. Okay. So it would have shorted, and then you would have been out with a 4.91% loss there. And then if this candle closes with another sell below the trading dots, it would trigger another short, right? So that's how it's set up. So this would have been potentially almost 100%. This would have given back, about 5% if you didn't have a stop loss, and it was an exit buy. But not an actual buy because it wasn't above the trending dots. So that's how these settings are set up. What else? TLT, Cipher. This would have been another one. It still would be in a long position. Moved up 266%. It would currently be up 217% on CIFR, right? So if you automated like stock only back in August 2025, you'd still be in this position right now, unless you change the exit settings. Like you could have had the exit settings to close you out here, right? Or automatically take profit. There's different exit settings. Riot. See, this is the time where the reversal exit wouldn't have been as good. That's what I was trying to show you. Would have been out there. And if you were in a position, it would have been out there. If you're in a position, it would have been out there. And if you didn't have a stop loss, oh no, it was out here, exit buy. So you had a sell, and then you had a loss here, small loss, and then this probably closed with another short in at the end, today, right? So mhm. The only issue with the daily chart is that the candle would close because it's not crypto, right? So crypto, it's still like it would take it, but the market would be closed. With the stock market would be closed on the sell. Uh, so that would be the only. You probably have to get in like on a lower time frame. So because it's going to close based off of the daily close on it. So just keep that in mind. Hit 4 out of 4 targets on MIGI. Was that it? MicroStrategy bounced off the neckline. Bounced off the neckline. The confirmation line. Right? Is that the confirmation line? Yeah. That's how we had it. Bounce off the confirmation line. So once you get a candle close, start to get candle close below on the daily chart, and then ultimately the weekly chart, because I drew this out on the weekly chart. MicroStrategy, the next move I would assume is the 200-week moving average. Could take some time to play out, right? Bounced here from February to April 2025. So it could be multi-week bounces, maybe, right? Who knows? But it's trending back down to the confirmation line. I put this Adam and Eve top on way back in October, weeks ago. And it's just still continuing to trend downward, right? And like I said, it could hover around here because let the trending dots catch up possibly. So it could hover down here for a couple of months before, breaking down, back testing, and then coming all the way back down. But that's what I'm seeing on MicroStrategy. It's a weekly chart. You got it. You got it. You got it. Thank you. I'm wanting to purchase market sentiment indicators, but does it also include instructions on how to enter, exit trades, and the strategy overview? The recorded coaching's no longer on the website. So if I'm thinking you mean the Market Sniper bot suite. Like it's just 2 trading bots, right? So the 2 indicators and the 60 plus hours of recorded coaching is no longer on the website. That was $79 a month. Now there's 2 trading bots. Is basically the same 2 indicators. I converted them into strategies that are 100% fully capable. Then I added some filters to them. At least 3 filters. I added position management tools to them, all that stuff. But yes, I'm going to be doing some video, probably do like a 20 to 30 minute video on like the settings, like how to change the settings on each bot, hopefully today. And then probably like maybe a 20, 30 minute video on the third party to do full 100% automation. And that's probably it. And if you wanted to do the 1 hour video live call with Alex, that's an extra one-time charge. But you can figure it all out on your own. It's just if you want to like fast track it and not have a learning curve like I did. I had a learning curve. It took me a long time to figure all this out on my own. Not only the trading bots, the third party, the trading view alerts that trigger the third party, that triggers your broker, that you choose to set up with it, the broker or the exchange. There's a lot. And if you just want to get it set up right away with like a paper trading account, and you can test it with a paper account versus using real money, that's what I would recommend. 1 hour call setup would get you going. But If you're referring to okay, but if I want to use the 2 indicators to trade, are you talking yeah. Oh, so if you're doing it manually, I see. Yeah, you don't have to use the full automation, but yeah, you could use yeah, it still has the buy and sell signals on it from like the indicator look and feel visually. Um, but it'll also say long or short entry. So you don't need both on there, right? So the style, I think you mean on the style, yeah. So it'll tell you reversals, it'll tell you MACD, like all that stuff, pending MACD, all that stuff. Uh, you can customize the trends, the take profits, it's all visually there. You could say take the trades off the chart and you could see the buy. I might have removed it. Yeah, I removed it. So you would just keep it's buy, sell, long or short is the same thing, right? So just you come over here. It was just getting too much visually on the chart, so I did remove the buy, sell, but the long, short entry is the same thing. Like you could put on the show the MACD indicators and it'll show all that. Did my screen freeze? Oh boy. I might have to hit refresh. Where is it? Labels. Inputs. Mm. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. I'm looking at the wrong. Good job, Jesse. Go back to style. All right, here we go. Here we go. Trades on chart. There we go. Yeah, so same thing, right? So it'll say short entry. It'll say short entry. It'll say short entry. It'll say short entry. It'll say long entry, right? So it'll have long and short entries on it if you're trading manually. Structure anchor has a buy signal on the daily chart. Do I just go long? Oh, yeah. So if you're doing manual, uh, I had 60 plus hours of recorded coaching. That's no longer available. I had 60 plus hours of recorded coaching for 3 years, three and a half years. So yeah, we're going more automation. So I'm going more down the automation route. But you could follow the automation route, right? It's just I'm not doing the recorded coaching anymore. And I stopped doing the live coaching June of 2022. So we did 2 months of live coaching and I recorded all of those videos. And that's what the recorded coaching is. It's unscripted. It was just an outline in my head of everything that I was like a hard outline the first 8+ hours that covered. Like 1 hour was divergence, 1 hour was trend lines, all that stuff. So the whole entire strategy, the real strategy for manual trading was part of the recorded coaching. This is more automation now. So it's similar. There's a lot of similarities, but it's not the exact manual trading that I did. Yeah, or come up with your own, right? Or come up with your own strategy. So if you got the two trading bots, you can customize it to be your own strategy, right? If you really wanted the recorded coaching, you could do the whole thing for if you're not a current member, I could probably send me a direct message and I could set you up for I could find the $79 payment link and I could set you up with the manual. I can give you the two training bots. I can give you the two old indicators as well, and the recorded coaching, all that if you want to. I just don't have it on the website because I want the website to be fully automated. But for 79, uh, then yeah, I don't I don't really want to, but I mean, if you truly want to go that way, I could probably send you the $79 payment link, but I'm not going to advertise it. Not going to have it on the website. It's just I only have so much time in the day, right? And then like we had a discussion group on it for years, and like only so much energy can go towards so much focus, right? So I want to stay hyper focused on finding like settings on the trading bots, building more trading bots, but finding the settings on the trading bots to go more automated, because what happens is emotions get the best of most traders. And I'm not saying you, I'm just saying most. And so that kind of led me down the rabbit hole of automation, because you could have the exact same strategy that I laid out over 60 plus hours worth, and you may not execute it the same way I do or others have. And the majority will not be able to do it because they get too emotional. They can't block out the noise. They can't block out the narratives. They can't block out the fundamentals. They can't. You either get out of the trade too soon. You may even lay out the plan perfectly up front, and then you just don't execute it. You know what I mean? So so that's why I going down this direction, right? So some can, but most cannot. So that's yep, you got it. Um, oh yeah, I mean, so the thing about that is like if it's more of like so the retirement account, that's probably more like investing anyways. And that's uh versus like yeah, you could swing trade it, but like if you're looking at higher time frames, uh probably work pretty good on the trading bots, right? So the trading bots probably be, for example, pick a stock. Like, what do you have for stock? We got to wrap this up here, but pick a stock. Let's see, Apple, right? Are you in it? A lot of portfolios have Apple in it. So if you look at Apple, this is the weekly chart as an example, right? hmm You would have to spend time on what the strategy is. But for example, if you're like, hey, I'm on Apple and I don't want to just hold it blindly, uh, I'm going to use the weekly chart, right? Still pretty good, I'm sure. So let's look at Apple. I've never even looked at Apple or tried to like, let's see. Let's take off the reversal candles. Uh, so like on stock, like you would have bought back here, and you'd probably want to dial this in even better, right? But you hold the stock, and 21% later, right? And then uh if you don't have the short, right? Like so if you're doing the stock on Apple for your retirement account, you're probably not shorting. So you would come down to trade direction and you would go long only, no shorts. And this would be a better strategy for you, right? Probably. And then let's see what else. What else? Um use dots for flip. You could do multiple take profits, right? So if you had, for example, if you had uh five five bit well, in futures it'd be like 5 contracts. You could close out each contract at 5 different levels, right? So if you had 5 futures contracts, it might work for stock as well. So if you have 5 stocks or 5 stocks, 5 oh my gosh, blanking. 5 yeah, 5 5 not 5 stocks, but uh you could take one, like you could do 25% at each one. So let's see. Let's see, properties. You got to come into properties, quantity, uh USD, for stock. What would we do? Let's just do one. Anyways, we're gonna cut this short anyways, but there's so many different ways to like slice it, right? So you could do take profit. Where's take profit on here? So that was take profit there. 25% at 10%. There we go. And let's see, go to properties, quantity, order size 5. There we go. There we go. Now we're cooking. All right. Woo. So you got multiple take profits. And then take profit 2, you're going to close 25%. Let's just do 25% on all of them. No, you can't do 25% on all of them. That'd be 125%, Jesse. Oh, there we go. All right. Take profit 2, let's say, is 12%. I don't know. I'm just throwing out random numbers. 14%. 16%. Or say 20%. And then this is, 30%, right? Because it's the last part of your position anyways. I don't know, maybe this is 15%. And you can see on a weekly chart, this would be over a year, right? So, or so if you're looking like against the SP 500 or whatever, right? So if you're looking as more of a long-term investor over almost a year, this is how you could like, there's so many different ways you could set up as like an investor. This could be like 20%. And you'd want to back test it, whatever assets you're looking at, and check it out. And this is a weekly chart, so it's not going to happen quickly where you're in and out of trades. Like you'd be watching it over time, right? And I'm not saying these are the best settings for Apple on a weekly chart. Maybe you go to the 4-day chart, 3-day chart, 2-day chart. You would find out what is best for you on your account, how conservative you want to be or not, right? So you got the multiple take profits, take profit 5, 4, all that happened on one candle. Take profit 4. You could see that as time goes on, you'd be locking in profits along the way. And so that's just like one example. What would it look like on the 2-week chart, right? If you're like a real, like a longer term 2-week chart, too high of a time frame for me probably. 4-day. There's so many different ways to slice it. 3-day. So you just have to decide what, but yeah, those are all the different, and that's just one of the trading bots too. Then you come over to sharpshooter RSI 3.2, and they're going to work better or different on each time frame. So one of them might work a lot better on a higher time frame, and one might work better on a shorter time frame. And it also depends on what filters you use and the Like, you can go more of the daily chart or lower time frames if you put in more filters. You can go to the 5-minute chart, like, this is a 5-minute Coinbase chart, if you've got more filters on it, stuff like that. So, I'm gonna do video. I'll be doing video on it. So, yeah, I don't get into all the secret sauce with the colored candles and all that stuff. Like, the recorded coaching went into deep dives for 60 plus hours. I'm not going to record 60 plus hours of trading bots. It's going to be like it's $49 a month, right? So it's if I'm going to go into all that, I'm going to charge way more, right? If I'm going to personally set you up on a live video call and hold your hand through the entire process, I'm going to charge $1,000 like I did the other 10 guys. Alex is doing it for $249. He'll walk you through the entire setup, but every single aspect of it, I don't have time to do it for $49, my man. But it's you the $49, like, hey, a lot of this you're gonna have to jump in and learn the settings, figure it out, play with it, all that stuff. I will have videos to do how to do it all, but I'm not gonna deep dive into every single aspect, every angle. It would take hours to do it, right? And they would have all the secret sauce in it. So I can't do all the secret sauce. I'm not can't do all that, but it's built. It's built and it's automated, so you can spend hours like finding what works best for you. Higher time frames, lower time frames, filters, non-filters, Heikinashi versus candles, all that stuff. You'll have enough to like how to set it up, right? You'll know how to completely set it up, but you won't have like the secret sauce talked about. A lot of it does come from recorded coaching. So, but I don't have the recorded coaching on there. Those are all grandfathered in. So, hope that helps. Hour and a half. Here we go. Thanks for all of your support. I appreciate you. Happy Halloween. Hopefully, you have fun tonight. Hopefully, you have a good weekend. And with that, we'll see you on Monday. Appreciate all of that, and have a good rest of your day. Thank you. Adios.